industry healthy before you can see any other development. So the issue there, just to go back to your question about what can we teach the world, I think what has worked for us more than the humility that we have is us finding those correct partnerships. We've got very good international partnerships. Cleverness, and I don't want to mention names now, and I don't know what it does to your marketing. Your C-SPANs, your Fairmonts, Marseilles, they're beginning to give us an undertaking as to how many people can they take per year, and that's what we must produce. And we've got a very big partner, and I can mention this one because you're going to interview him, MSC. Because that whole program that we started on manpower development was on MSC's undertaking, and that's where we are. And then, so the reason then I didn't want to talk more about transformation is that Operation Pakistan has given us some benefit. So you wouldn't want to throw that away. Most of those initiatives that I'm talking about, some of them only became possible because Operation Pakistan took off.
And on that note about the partnerships, as we are industry publication, what role does industry have to play in supporting SAMSA in South Africa's growth?
A big role. In fact, we lament the fact that the partnerships we have, we should be seeing more. We have no fewer than about 50 operators in the country. Agents, ship operators, and some ship owners. But it's only a handful that we are working with. As I'm saying, MSC is the biggest in the country. You've got Maersk and Submarine. There are historical links, but we saw that relationship cooling off. And we've been lamenting that just for the benefit you're getting out of this country, just play your part.
Of course.
And so for us, the biggest message is, as we try to play our part, is that industry plays its part. And we consult quite a great deal with industry. And I think we've bent over backwards to accommodate them whenever we could. They need sustainable operations. So it is our considered view that they need to do something about their own sustainability, which we are willing to help. So if we play our part, we think that they should also play their part.
And for me, the last question is a bit of a more personal one, but you've been with SAMSA for quite a few years now. What is your best part about working here?
Don't even look at me.
I'm trying to find this best part.
What do you love about working at SAMSA?
I think it's challenge.
I'm
one person who gets driven. I ran a crazy race. I'm a runner. I ran 20 kilometers this morning before I came to work.
Good.
And I do the Comrades Marathon. If you Google it, only crazy people do that thing. And so the one thing for me is I am completely sold the potential of this sector. And even if I was not getting paid, I still think I would be preaching the same gospel. And so what has been the biggest thing for me, it's I've seen SAMSA when before I worked for SAMSA, I was already in the maritime industry being regulated by SAMSA. So I used to have running battles with SAMSA at the time. And so what then I undertook to do for myself is that once I joined SAMSA, I would try and create a regulator that was not going to regulate the industry to its death. Because for me, it is very important. It's very easy to say to everybody, no, you will comply with this, no, this is too risky, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other. But I have one belief as a person, the safest ports are those ports where no ships come in. The safest coastline is that coastline where there are no ships. But that's not how life works.
Yes.
So for me, it is the balance.
Yes.
And it is pushing those limits to ensure that whilst you remain sustainable, you extract as much benefit that you can have. And so maybe that is one thing that drives me. And maybe the last thing is working with the people that I work with. We fight a lot, but I think we fight for a cause. And I think all of us understand that because there's a very good bunch of people at SAMSA. And we try and make SAMSA work. SAMSA has a whole lot of challenges, but I don't hear complaints in these passages here. We see people who really want to get to work. As I'm saying, you know, she said she was not going to be here. Now I'm getting close.
In any case, you can add there.
Yeah. But as I'm saying, I said earlier that I see the development of the sector as a precondition for the development of the country.
Yes.
Now I see this industry that you cannot think about the country without thinking about it. More like Singapore. You know, if you go to Singapore, everything is maritime in Singapore. So I'm seeing an industry that is going to be contributing a great deal of value into the country's GDP.
Yeah.
You know, we've spoken to the Statistics South Africa people to say, give us these indicators and these measurements.
Yes.
So that as we target our effort, we know exactly what is it that we want to move.
Okay.
So I see a lot of ships for this country. I see a lot of employment. But I see an industry that's going to be at the core of this country's development. And most importantly, and this is one thing that I say all the time, we're sitting at the wrong end of the continent. Now it's closer to go from Singapore and China to Kenya on the east coast, and from the US to the Gulf of Guinea on the west coast. The only thing that remains giving us that competitive advantage is the ability to stay in front of the development curve, infrastructure curve, this, that, and the other. So I see then a huge ability to transition one day from the hardcore transportation to the services, the skills, the thinking, or you know, the formulation of the way forward for the African continent. We already do get consulted as a company, as a SAMSA. We provide a lot of assistance to the entire continent. Now, that is the position that we need to get into now. To say, we've done everything that we can do physically, but we need to be at the forefront of of African thinking in maritime, in developing the maritime sector for the continent. And that is what role that I think SAMSA can play.
Very good. I don't agree with your statement saying that you are at the wrong end of the continent. Like, we have been in the north. And believe me. I have a last question for you. Well, as we did last time with Michele, what would be your 5 to 6 year vision for SAMSA? If I come back, let's say in 2022 or 23, where am I going to see SAMSA?
You will see a highly specialized maritime authority that will be systems driven. And I mean complete quality systems, etc. But you will see a SAMSA that is a go-to entity for government advice on matters of development. And you will see a SAMSA that is leading the development of the industry, as we have done, I'm sure we would have consolidated all our work and would have become a leader in Africa as a maritime administration. And we're choosing Africa because we see a lot of growth potential into Africa. Now, if you understand, South Africa produces a lot of skill and capacity. Now, maybe the measurement that we want for the country's influence in global maritime terms, you know what the Filipino seafarers is to maritime today, is what the South African professional will be in not 5 years, but certainly in 10 years. You would know that Costa Concordia, the person, the salvage master that righted the Costa Concordia is South African. And so we've got a lot of pockets of specialization that we are going to have built on.
So different, many things, exciting things coming also in the...
We're going to get there.
Perfect.
With humility, we'll keep marching on.
Well, but you need to, as Karen was saying, you need to talk a little bit more about the different achievements, right? From SAMSA and also from the country. But this is our job. We will talk, we will make sure to focus on the good things and yes, talk about the different achievements and the capabilities of SAMSA. I mean, we talked about different subjects during the interview, but I highlighted, for example, as you were mentioning, I think this is a key part in the entire report, is the part you have been playing or you are playing in this new dawn. The role of SAMSA to create awareness, to be really the link between the coastline and the new dawn, the new vision. And also I think it's very important to highlight how the maritime industry can really drive growth for the nation. You said it different times in the interview, but I think this is one of the key points. And one of the expressions that I'm gonna quote from you is the halfway station. I really like this term to qualify South Africa. And I do believe it's very accurate because you have a natural position, and as you were saying, you have the expertise. But it's also time for the rest of the world to know the expertise that South Africa has. So thank you so much for all those comments. We'll make sure we put everyone in copy so you can add different things and other notes in the transcript, okay?